Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Man fatally stabbed in Portland. The Portland police are investigating the death of a man who was found suffering from stab wounds in a hotel's parking lot in Port Antonio on Sunday afternoon. Police named the deceased as Colin Colson, otherwise called Gramazone, a resident of land settlement in Port Antonio. Police reports are that about 2:50 p.m., passersby found Colson suffering from what appeared to be stab wounds. The police were alerted and he was taken to hospital, where he was pronounced dead. An eyewitness on the scene reported that Colson had an altercation with two women before he was stabbed. "I was here and he called to me and went over to the Go-Go Girls, and I don't know what he or the Go-Go Girls have. When I look, the girls drape him, and him drape the girl and take out him knife. The girl took out her knife also, and the other girl pepper sprayed him. By the time the next girl pepper sprayed him, the next one stabbed him, and him walk across the road and go down in the park lot. And when we come down here, we see him under the mango tree. Then me hear say him a bleed. One man took him up to put him in the car, but nobody no one go with him, and him come out and fall aground. The police them come and take him to the hospital," he said. One of the two women was taken to the police station. Homeowner kills alleged robber in Portland. The Portland police are probing the death of a man after he was shot by a licensed firearm holder during an alleged home invasion Sunday morning at Port Antonio in the parish. The deceased has not been identified. Reports are that about 4:45 a.m., the firearm holder was at home sleeping with his family when he was awakened by strange sounds in his house and went to investigate. It is reported that the firearm holder saw a man armed with a gun pointing in his direction. He fired shots at the man, who then ran out of the house with another man. The injured man was later found lying on the ground with the firearm, while his accomplice escaped. The police were called to the scene. Body believed to be that of missing bartender found in shallow grave. Detectives in St. Anne have arrested a man in connection with the suspected murder of a woman after her decomposing body was found in a shallow grave in Runaway Bay in the parish on Friday. The body is suspected to be that of 25-year-old Russell Glaze, a bartender of a St. Elizabeth address. According to reports, Glaze was working at a bar in Salem, also in Runaway Bay. Family members reported her missing on Wednesday of this week after they failed to make contact with her. However, sources say Glaze was last seen in a bar in Runaway Bay, reportedly in the company of a man on Saturday, May 21. Following an initial probe by the police, a man from the parish was detained and questioned. Acting on intelligence, the police went to Cardiff Hall, area of the Runaway Bay on Friday, and found a shallow grave near to an abandoned building. The body was later exhumed and removed to the morgue for a post-mortem examination at a later date. The post-mortem is to determine the cause of death. The man now in police custody is to be further questioned as investigators further probe the matter, including the new development. Cop ID suspect in shooting that marred wig for Ananda Dean's sister. The police say they have identified the suspect believed to be behind the shooting that marred a wake in Whitehall St. Andrew that was being held for the sister of Ananda Dean on Friday. Shanice Dean, 28, was shot and killed, and 3 other people were injured at a funeral that was being held at Meadows Memorial Gardens in St. Catherine on May 21. The service was being held for a relative of the Deans. As it relates to the incident at the wake, the police said that the sound of gunshot that sent people scampering for cover as it echoed through the air was not fired at the event but close by. The gunfire, it is reported, took place even though members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force had a team of officers close to the event. Persons at the wake heard gunshots and panicked, and this triggered a rush, but based on investigations, the shots were fired close to the event, said a police source. The cause of this latest shooting is still not clear. The police have also disclosed that the investigation into the shooting incident that led to the death of Shanice revealed that gunmen carried out an attack on a man who was also attending the funeral for a family member of the Deans. Reports are that Shanice was hit in the crossfire as a shootout between the men and other firearm holders took place. Reports are that members of Dean family held a Thanksgiving service for a loved one in Kingston, and then proceeded to Meadows Memorial Gardens in St. Catherine, where the deceased was to be buried when gunshots were heard. The men who carried out the attack then fled the area. 4 people were wounded and were rushed to the hospital, where Shanice was pronounced dead. The other victims were hospitalized. Shanice is related to Ananda Dean, an 11-year-old girl who was abducted and killed in 2008. The death of Ananda Dean led to the authorities to form the Ananda Alert System, designed to ensure that speedy and safe recovery of a child in the event that he or she cannot be located by a caregiver. Grade 3 diagnostic test scheduled for June 1 to 17, says Education Ministry. The Ministry of Education and Youth has advised that the Grade 3 diagnostic test will get underway on Wednesday, June 1 and will conclude on Friday, June 17. Students will be assessed in language arts and mathematics. Both tests will be administered online using Google Forms except for the writing task, which will be administered using paper and pencil. The Ministry has also advised that hard copies of the writing task components of the diagnostic test will be dispatched to all regional offices on May 30. Teachers are asked to administer the writing task in the same way it was administered in previous years and have also been advised that the test administration manual has already been packaged and sent to all schools. A link for each diagnostic test, language arts and mathematics, will be emailed to schools for the online administration. School administrators are being asked to ensure that all the tests are administered during the period June 1, 2022 to June 17, 2022 and should be done over a 2-day period. The Grade 3 diagnostic test is a whole class administration exercise, and teachers are asked to follow the administration manual for guidelines. For students without electronic devices, PDF versions of the test will be made available to schools so that the necessary arrangements can be made for the test to be downloaded and hard copies used to administer to students according to the schedule. It must be noted, however, that school administrators are to ensure that the responses of students who complete hard copies of the test are uploaded on the Google platform, the ministry stated. The Grade 3 diagnostic test is designed primarily to identify the areas of weakness that students may have at this point in their learning journey. The results of the test are to be used by the Grade 3 teachers to adjust their teaching strategies in preparation for the incoming students, while the Grade 4 teachers should use them to plan necessary interventions for individual students and/or group of students who sat the test. 23.9% COVID positivity rate, 276 new cases, 6 deaths recorded. Amid Jamaica recording 276 new COVID-19 cases over the 24-hour period up to Saturday afternoon, the Ministry of Health and Wellness has reported a positivity rate of 23.9% for the 1-day period. Of the total number of cases recorded for the period, 57 were classified as being imported. 6 COVID-19 deaths that occurred from January to March were also recorded on Saturday, bringing the overall coronavirus death toll in Jamaica to 3,055. A 95-year-old man from St. Catherine is among the latest recorded COVID fatalities nationally. The separate deaths of 2 COVID-19 patients have been classified as being coincidental. There were 74 recoveries on the day, bringing that tally to 86,903. The newly confirmed COVID-19 cases brought the total number on record for the island to 136,589. Notably, the 23.9% positivity rate was based on the samples that were tested on Saturday. Of the newly confirmed cases, 170 are females and 106 are males, with ages ranging from 1 day to 90 years. The case counts were made up of St. James 86, Kingston and St. Andrew 62, St. Anne 42, Westmoreland 19, Hanover 15, St. Thomas 15, Trelawney 11, St. Mary 11, St. Catherine 7, Portland 4, and Manchester 4. There are 35 moderately ill patients, 5 severely ill patients, and 2 critically ill patients among 3,008 active cases now under observation in Jamaica. There are 132 COVID-19 patients now hospitalized locally. Project Birthright to provide 11,000 undocumented Jamaicans with birth certificates, says Green. Approximately 11,000 undocumented Jamaicans will be provided with birth certificates this year under the government's so-called Project Birthright, which is being rolled out under the National Identification System NIDS. Minister without portfolio in the Office of the Prime Minister, Floyd Green, said Project Birthright will coincide with the country's 60th anniversary of independence, which is being observed this year. He was speaking recently in the sectoral debate in the House of Representatives. Under the program, the NIDS project, in collaboration with the Registrar General's Department (RGD), will develop, implement, and promote outreach programs at the RGD's branch offices and across various communities for registering needy, undocumented Jamaicans. Eligible participants will receive their birth certificate free of cost, said Green. He explained that Project Birthright will provide free birth certificates for undocumented Jamaicans with less than $37,000 of household income monthly. We have allocated Jamaican $50 million for this project and expect it to benefit over 11,000 undocumented eligible Jamaicans over the course of this year. The project will adapt existing means of verifying if the applicants were born in Jamaica, said the minister. He said that as July, Project Birthright registration forms will be available at the RGD's branch offices, the RGD website, the NIDS Fact website, and on social media pages. Forms will also be made available on the day of planned outreach events. In recognition of Jamaica's 60th, we are kickstarting this program by asking our members of parliament to aid us by each supplying the names of 60 persons across your constituency that are in need of birth certificates and fit the established criteria. In this our 60th year, we are going to take steps to ensure that each Jamaican can claim their birthright, starting with their birth certificate, said Green. This will lay the foundation for those persons to participate in our digital society, he added. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.